Yeah, because I signed in and I'm into the.
We're going to do the pledge, and then we'll go from, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Amen. Before we get going, I'm going to make a motion that we allow Jim Michow to attend remotely because he's on Martha's Vineyard, I believe.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Betty?
Yeah.
Hey, Jim. How's Martha's
Good.
Vineyard?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yep.
Perfect. All right.
We don't have checks.
No
but
checks?
We have all the backup that will go with the checks tomorrow. So you can read off what the checks will be.
All right. You want to just reconcile?
I can do it to you.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, that makes it quick. Ready? Okay. Benedict's 1,034.78. Brian 337. Gasell 457.67. Collins 1,014.68. McConnell is 1,214.47.
Whoops, sorry. No.
Could be under Cooper. Cooper McConnell. Uh, 1,214.47. Sanuski is 1,018.22. Donis Wall is 1,154.62. Fitzgerald is 881.81. Gagnon is 874.87. Gherkin is 169.64. Giroux is 987.27. Haggett is 717.89. Healy is 342.24. Heffernan is 356.52. Ingalls is 1,006.74. Kegel is 538.80. Callaway is 598.22. Kennedy 753.71. Lambro is 314.51. Levine is 361.05. Leo is 87.27. Lord is 351.25. Macaulay is 51.27. McDonald is 324.95. Manzi is 935.03. Markey is 1,155.61. Marsden is 1,133.80. E. Merrill is 491.88. O. Merrill is 524.02. Myers is 245.65. Mitchell is 276.29. Murch is 1745.33. Newman is 1384.70. Nicolay is 491.88. O'Brien is 125.60. Olson is 1,498.52. O'Neill is 1,094.56. Ranowska is 913.10. Richard 375.84. Robinson is 1,394.27. Spitaleri 1,155.04. Stevens 360.05. Tennant is 977. Tilby 1,201.94 or 91. I'm sorry. J Tilby is 135.76. Second J Tilby is 656.66. Tuttle is 657.66. Tuttle is 817.23. Whitby is 1,089.92. Weirs is 1,172.34. Wood is 1,358.69. H Wood is 1,182.92. Wass is 1,174.17. Yerkes, is that how I say it? Yerkes is 1,292.90. Then I have checks. I have a field at 369.40. And then I have Martinez is 1,680. Seekins is 480.59. All right. So for a total of 54,967.72, direct deposits is 41,311.12. What are these? The 41,311. Okay. All right. So that's good. Pass that around to sign that. We have the top sheet. Is this the part that goes on for the clipping? Take the big one. Does this have a signature? These are the invoices. All right, so this is a matter of reconciling the invoices, right? And the checks are going to get printed. Is that what we're doing? All right. I'm saving you guys. Just handed them over to her since the checks aren't here. Air gas is $200.79. Amazon Capital is $165.32. Boudreaux is $723.70.
Down the table.
Oh, yeah, we haven't done that yet.
I didn't sign it.
All right, so we still have to find that one. All right, so I'm just going to put a star next to it so that way we know. AT&T Mobility. It's $814.57. That one out there. Ben's uniform is $1,233.23. Casella Waste Systems. Oh, you did? All right, so that should be, it was $723.70.
No little stickers.
And then Casella Waste Systems is $52,104.77.
One side.
E&J Auto Parts, Inc. is $689.55. And enamel pins is $975. Says for challenge coins. Haggett, $275.25. Industrial Protection Services, $287.50. Ingalls, $38.88. The library, $9,655. Who's this for? NHDES Waste Management Division. Looks like it's an educational course for $75. Pentagon Federal Credit is $6,767. Pete's Toilet Rentals, $100 even. Prompt due 10-minute oil change, $248.35. Seacoast Mills building is $52.67. UniFirst Corporation, $168.37. Valic, $110. WB Mason is the last one for $124.87. Perfect. Signature sheet on that. Oh, there it is, got it. The last page. Total of that for the amounts for the manifest was $74,809.82. This one, there's only one check, which I'll look, which is the Recreation Department for $60. 30 of it was Pelletier, and the other 30 was an O'Connor. Of course, there's no checks yet, so.
This is riveting TV.
It's keeping you intrigued. All right, so this one we have check for air gas for $128, Boundtree Medicals $355.22 for a total of $483.22. Checks have not been printed yet, but I'll do a roll call vote on that. What are these? All right, we'll get into those.
Yeah, so motion.
Vote on the registry.
Yeah, motion to accept the payroll accounts payable registry along with.
And the accounts payable.
Yeah, and the accounts payable.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Letty?
Yep.
Jim?
Aye.
All right, all aye. All right, and then we have timber tax. We have one assessed value of timber. What's this one for? Looks like Block Drive, $9,031.42 was the total assessed value for a tax of $903.15. And then the other one, we'll just do them together. The other one is for map 218.001.000, otherwise it's a PO box. And this one was assessed value of $11,538.51 for a total timber tax of $1,153.85. Do I have a motion to accept these two?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Are those tied to intents to cut?
Yeah,
Or is this a
intent
different-
filing for the tax year, April 1st, 2025 to March 31st of 26, so they have to do it within that time frame.
So are these supposed to line up with intents to cut that we signed over that time period? Or is this a different, I feel like we signed more than two?
Yeah, these are two that they're total due, so tells me that they probably have already harvested the lumber and now we're charging them the tax because they had to put in what type of trees they took down, oaks, beech. Yeah, so
Okay.
these ones are, like this one, they took
Do we owe that money or are we
69.450
getting
board
that
feet.
money?
This is money we receive. So we're assessing them a tax. So,
From a prior cut that was prior. to
Yeah,
But
'cause
that's
they've-
from the
26.
state. That's not from us. That's what I'm trying to understand.
this is their certification of yield taxes assessed from Brentwood, Town of Brentwood. Send a signed copy to New
Is
Hampshire
that a new
Department of Revenue.
form, maybe? Is that what's
It
throwing
looks
me
new.
off?
It looks new to me.
I feel like the other timber tax forms we've gotten do not.
Yeah, this is kind of weird,
Yeah, that's why maybe I'm thrown off.
but it looks like now they're saying, now they have all the lumber amounts.
Okay.
And it's weird because they're doing per board foot, like 69.450.925.
I've just never seen that form before, is I think. really
Yeah, I have never either. Hardwoods and aspens, pines, even biomass chips.
So motion to approve the assessment for the two lots that were referenced.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, roll call.
Aye.
Aye.
Letty?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Today is
18.
18, thank you. 8/18/26.
Julie.
26, perfect. Linda, you're next.
Oh, look at this go along.
Remember the button this time. Okay. This week's figures, so for the general fund, current cash balance of $1,517,468.31, with current accounts payable to be paid of $74,809.82, current payroll to be paid of $43,167.91, and taxes on the payroll to be paid of $9,713.89. We do still have current outstanding accounts payable of $46,971.79, leaving us with an ending cash balance of $1,342,804.90. We currently have $6 million invested in CDs, one of which is $1.5 million to mature at the end of this month. The Recreation Department has cash on hand of $74,647.10. Current outstanding accounts payable of $60, leaving you with an ending balance of $74,587.10. The ambulance fee account has a cash balance of $363,822.42. Current outstanding accounts payable of $483.22, leaving you with an ending balance of $363,339.20. They do have $300,000 invested in a CD. And I wanted to follow up to let you know that I did just give Katie today, Katie Ingalls with the police department, 2 checks, of which were to cash out the body cams and the National Night Out project. So she received a check for $3,368.35 for the body cams. That's with residual interest for the month of August. And then she received a check for $5,313.24, and that was the National Night Out Fund, again with residual interest for a few days in August. Also, just wanted to make you aware that there is $1,111,168.22 in the credit card account that has not been moved over to the general fund to date. There's still interest being earned on that, so don't be concerned that because it's not sitting in the general fund, it's not earning anything. But just to be aware that in addition to the 1.3 million in cash, the 6 million in CDs, there is also another 1.1 million in the credit card account. That is work that I'll take care of getting moved over this week. And then,
I'm sorry, can you The credit card account, is that what you said?
So when our tax bills are paid, or there are any registrations paid, or recreation department,
By credit card.
all by credit card, it goes into what we have is a credit card account. And then I sweep money from that credit card account into the general fund.
Okay,
But I'm not comfortable doing that until I'm been able to review all of the numbers that took place in 2025 to date. Because the procedure, there was a lack of a procedure, and it wasn't being, it was not something being followed.
yeah, thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
When's the last time it was moved?
There were 2 large flat lump sum payments moved in January that have not been reconciled. It's a project on the very long to-do list.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
And then last thing to note is that I did review the last 8 years of warrant articles to find out that we never established a solar revolving fund that was voted on in 2024. Requested that the bank open that. When it is open, I will move the money over that should be in that fund. The fire inspection revolving fund is finally open, and the money will properly be moved to that fund.
Chief will be happy. He brought that up earlier tonight, so that's good.
And then the emergency management fund has been opened, but I did go back to date of when it was voted, and all funds have not been moved from the general fund into that account. So that will be taken care of as well.
Good deal.
What are the amounts for those?
I don't have final figures for you on that movement, but I can give that to you next week.
Thank you.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Anything
Naima.
else?
Yeah, I have a question about
Sure.
that. So for the solar fund,
Mhm.
you said that was what year?
2024.
So since we just closed out 2024, what happened to the money that was supposed to go in there? Like, is it just floating, or where is it?
That's what I'm finishing up this week, and I will confirm. I may need to wait until Jillian is back from vacation to have her help me with some of the backup documents.
I feel like I'm asking the wrong question. Like, is it in just the regular bank account?
It would, if any money was deposited, it would be sitting in the general fund currently, yes.
Okay.
Even from 24.
Not being here in 2024, not being part of the 2024 audit, I can't speak to that. That's why I need to be able to talk with
Okay.
Jillian and with Sue.
I guess maybe my question would be better asked, would that money have been captured in what we thought was the unreserved fund balance when we calculated that to set the tax rate and stuff last year?
And again, I think we're both just beating the same,
Okay.
because I wasn't here in
No,
24.
it's not about what you, I'm asking, I think procedurally, like, is that where that money would have been captured if?
I would hope that that's where it would go, but
Okay.
with different things that I've been working through since I got
Okay.
here, I can't speak confidently as to what someone else may have done in 2024.
Okay.
It's-
But I will figure out what should have gone, where it did go, and making sure that we do get it properly into the right place.
I guess, can we reopen 25 to fix that if we need to? Or is it too late?
I think it's
2025 is not closed, though.
Oh, okay. When I asked something about 25 last time, but we can make broader corrections as needed. Okay.
how long can we
Julie, your mic's not on.
correct
Thank you.
the reconciliation entries?
Until the audit's done.
Once the audit's done, it's done.
They close it out, yeah.
So
once-
24 is since
Is
the
done.
audit's.
It's not, it's a draft.
Yeah, we've got a draft. We don't have a finalized audit from them yet.
Because we still have to send to legal and stuff like that. right?
It's been sent to legal, the letter's been sent to legal.
Okay, for them to review. Okay. So hopefully that's closed out soon. And we can move forward. Any other questions? No. Linda, thank you, as always. I appreciate you digging into
problem.
this and trying to sort out the chaos that we have.
And I'll give you some updates at the next meeting.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Linda.
Welcome.
And she walked into an overwhelming amount of
work, and she's done an amazing job catching up.
We had the meeting minutes that got circulated.
Yeah, I just wanted to make 2 edits.
Okay.
Just on the first, where it says all voted in favor except Bedard. I don't remember if I abstained or voted no, but it was because I hadn't looked at the register yet and I didn't want to hold up the vote.
Okay.
And then the second to last part where it says discuss the employment agreement with the town of Brentwood, just adding that that's the police department employment agreement,
Oh, okay.
just because I had a moment of like, wait, when did we talk about that?
It just says employee, doesn't say what the,
Doesn't, it
Oh,
was
okay.
about the police department and recouping,
if they leave before then.
recouping our costs if they leave before they're done with their contract, right? Is that what that?
Yeah, yeah,
about?
yeah.
Yeah, just adding.
And everyone okay with those changes? Jim, I know you're abstaining on this because you can't read it, so.
He wasn't here last week anyways.
Oh, okay.
Again,
Oh, yeah.
All right, so, well, we didn't have a meeting last week, did we?
No,
Yeah, we did.
2 weeks
2 weeks
ago.
ago.
2 weeks ago, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion with Letty's edits. that
Second.
We approve that. All in favor, roll call?
aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Jim, you're gonna abstain?
Jane.
Thank you. Okay. Town clerk's office,
Oh, she must be helping.
sorry. Okay, come back. Morton Salt contract.
The rains it pours.
Yeah. All right. Morton Salt. We have the contract for 3,000 tons. It's $75.42 a ton.
$226,000, that's not about right?
$226,260.
Oh, you get off charts.
But pretty damn close. I give you credit for that.
I'm a
right.
numbers guy.
Thank you. I'm glad you are. I like numbers. Go ahead, Wayne. What's last year's budget? Do we know? Not to throw this.
Microphone, Wayne.
How many tons is
Red button.
the better question?
There you go, you're on. Okay.
So last year we did 19.
But do we budget for 3,000 last year?
Yes, we did. We
And-
used, we used 2,023 tons last year, and that's mixing
Pull
it,
your mic up so we can just.
and that's mixing it with the sand. We mixed, we put 2 sand, 1 salt when we load the trucks. And we have 70 miles of road now. Just so you know, we got 70 miles of road plus all the town buildings. And this year I didn't add any on. We don't have any other roads coming this year. So I'm just playing this by ear that hopefully we don't get any more storms than what we had last year. And the storms ain't as very long, you know what I mean? If these storms get long and we start getting snow, and what they're saying for this year is a lot of ice, we may be in trouble. I don't know.
Well, and last
mean,
year you ordered 1931, but you actually ended up getting 2023, so you went over by
2020.
100 almost.
But we got that at the end of the storm because my salt shed ran out.
Okay.
And when I called them, they brought that up. But we had that, that was included in the 3,000 ton that we have. We
Okay.
didn't use, but that's what they brought.
Okay.
And,
I'll make a motion for the 3,000.
Can you,
and just so you know, I did call,
This is just to sign the contract.
Granite State. I called Granite State Salt, and I called, what was the other one here? I called, Easton Minerals. They, for a quote, to see, I was putting the quote against what we had for a quote this year, and they don't even have a quote yet. They're not gonna have that quote until the end of September. So, I'm gonna say, I wanna stay with Morton Salt because I know back on when I was road agent, and when I first got road agent, there was a lot of towns was getting their salt from Morton Salt, and they turned around and they changed, that's including the state. The state changed and went to, I think they went to Granite State. We come to a shortage. It came into a shortage, and those guys didn't get the salt, we did. Morton Salt went all the way to Pennsylvania and picked our salt up. We ordered the salt, I ordered the salt because we were out, and they sent 3 trucks to Pennsylvania to get us salt, and we've always gotten salt. Once we called them, we've always gotten salt, so.
When was that?
What's that?
When was that, Wayne? When did that happen?
Last year.
When they went to
No.
Pennsylvania?
When they went to Pennsylvania, that
Yeah.
was a few years ago.
Yeah, okay. So can you just,
But they also came through for us last year too, Wayne, right?
And this,
Yes.
this is not a budget discussion, this is just assigning the contract that we're gonna get salt from them.
Right, it's approving that we're gonna buy up to 3,000 tons at the $75.42.
does that mean that we have to buy all 3,000?
No,
No, because we only bought 2023.
we only pay for what we actually use.
Okay, so it's up to 3,000.
Yeah,
Up
so,
to 3,000.
so last year,
Yeah.
this
whatever
is
that-
where,
30 loads.
Yeah, you
A load is 60
No.
tons.
no, Jim,
you guys.
Jim.
You guys.
Yeah, so make,
All right.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. I
Clarification.
just want to make sure that we're not mixing up tons and loads like
No,
this.
we
This is
have,
what
we
happened
have the
last year.
tonnage list right in front of us,
Okay,
the
Because-
total tons.
because
Not
last
loads.
year, I believe we budgeted for 30 loads of
Nope.
salt.
Nope,
Okay.
3,000,
Well, you got a lot, I know when I did this, I put in for 3,000 ton of salt.
yep,
When I did my budget, that's what I put in for.
yep,
When you guys did my budget, you guys changed my budget. And, that 3,000 tons, some of that money was paid, some out of,
25 or
25.
24, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
25,
covered
but
it, yeah.
after January, you guys were doing your budget. You turned around and I know what I got $45,000 to go from whatever time you guys did that for January. And right now, I have $15,000 left in that. That money right there, that is not enough right now to fill my salt shed or bring my sand in like I usually do. I haven't got a price yet for the sand. Chris Beebe came down the other day and he's looking into what it's gonna cost me to bring the sand in. But right now, all I have, like I said, I'm working on that $15,000. If you look onto my budget thing right now, you can see it, it should say 15,000.
so
That's what I have left out of that.
is it accurate that right now we're deciding whether or not we want to have a contract with Morton Salt? And the
Or
budget
Up to
question,
3,000 tons.
and
yeah.
the budget question of how we want to budget for that versus encumbering, budgeting for the
Yeah.
whole amount is later?
Yeah, it's a separate discussion. So this is just whether we want to agree to the 75.42. What did they charge last year?
71.42
Last year, so they're up $4.
last year. Last year's was 71.42, I believe.
And now it's 75.
Now it's
It
75.
went up $4 per ton.
But right now, we got 15,000 in there.
But that's a separate,
That's a separate, yeah, it's
Separate.
budgeting. This is whether or not we want to agree to the 75.42 for up to 3,000 ton. Last year, according to the records from the order slips, we went through 2,023 tons.
is there an exclusivity clause in there? Saying that we can only get salt from them?
No, I'm not seeing anything exclusive. Terms, contingent credit approval. Seller agrees to supply up to 100% of the quoted tonnage, and customer guarantees the purchase of a minimum of 40% of the total quoted tonnage by December 31st of 2026.
27 is my guess.
Well,
Yeah.
it keeps going.
Oh, okay.
And a minimum of 0% of the total quoted tonnage by March 31st, 2027. So you're gonna have to order 40%.
That's,
Right, so that would be
that's
1,200, right?
not typically how
Yeah.
it has gone. Wait, what was the first date?
December 31st.
December 31st, the end of this year. You have to order 40% of it.
4, 5.
That's 1,200.
Yeah. Do you usually order
I mean-
1,200?
What's
Before the
that?
end of, do you usually order 1,200 tons before December 31st?
Yeah, because I have to fill the shed up.
How much ton does the shed take?
I want to say it's like 12 or 13 truckloads,
And how many,
and I'm not sure.
So,
a load is 60 tons?
Not, well,
yeah, I know. So
66 tons.
56 tons?
is that
66.
what the,
66.
is
Yeah.
that what the contract always says?
I think there's a minimum, yeah.
But has it always said that?
I think so, yes.
So it looks like we do not do that usually, and it's fine.
What do you mean?
We don't usually.
We
order,
don't usually hit the 40% by the end of the calendar year,
And they've never seen it.
and they've never
Oh.
said anything.
Yeah, because I'm looking at what you ordered.
I think as long as you ultimately
You're
hit
committed,
40%.
you're committed to
Right.
buying that much from them.
Right.
I don't think you've got this one. This is the tonnage that they brought in. Right here,
Oh, yeah, that's the same thing.
truckloads.
Yeah,
Yeah, we've got it.
Yeah, this is the one we have, yep, I have it.
I still think we should sign this contract, and then we can discuss how we want to budget for it.
Yeah, because it looks like sometimes they're doing 64 tons is about the average truckload that I'm seeing on this list is 64 tons. Sometimes they did 128, sometimes they did 96, which would be a truck and a half. So, but on average, and then I'm looking at the amounts that you got delivered. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so last year, 25, you had.
How many truckloads were delivered
those-
last
You
year?
had
Bob?
15 truck
But that
out of the.
was split between two different contracts, so you got to be kind of careful.
223. So since, if I look at the ones that were after August of last year, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 in 25. That is, so you had 8 of them at. It was only 512 ton that were delivered. So if we had to do 1,200 ton,
It sounds like they're not enforcing that as long as we
Do they-
ultimately hit the 1,200.
I don't think if I call them now for salt, they won't bring it. They won't bring it. They wait toward, somewhere near the November or something.
Yeah.
That's when they start bringing it.
yeah, October is when I started seeing the loads started coming in October.
Okay, October?
Yeah, October is when they started coming
Yeah,
in.
I know if you call them ahead of time, they won't bring it because their pricing is out and,
If you're concerned about hitting the 40%, we could lower the total to make the 40% more in line with our actual. But I don't know that that's necessary, given how this is typically played out.
And I think we need to be careful because if we get hit with some pretty good storms, it could eat into that really quickly.
very quick.
And it would be good to, I'd rather have a little bit more than be searching and having, accidents because we're not salting the roads properly, because we don't have any salt.
All right, so do I have a motion to sign this?
already
think
made
there
the
was one.
Letty already made a motion.
Oh, and a second?
Yeah, second.
I will.
All in favor, roll
Jim,
call.
it's fine.
Jim, you're a yes?
Yep.
Paul?
Aye.
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 Aye. All right, so I'll sign this.
Thank you, Wayne.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Anything else, or you?
No,
Okay,
that's it.
thank you.
Yes.
All right. So it's set, right?
Oh, he's,
I do
we-
have
he-
one thing.
Oh, what do you,
almost, so close.
We're wondering down the highway shed if we could put in for a couple of more guys to plow. If anybody's willing to come in to plow, we may have to use, we got a couple more trucks down there and we definitely gotta put another big one out on some of these big storms because, Jeff's route, it's really taking a toll on him going out there. He has to, I should have at least another truck out there on that roll, on that there. But if we just can get somebody that we can, I already got some, another guy working for us and Jim working for us, but sometimes they can't do it. So when they don't do it, then we only have 3 trucks. When them guys ain't available, we only have us 3, and that takes a pretty good toll. So if we can get a couple more guys,
How many people do you typically try to have on the roster, those part-timers that you can call in when there's a storm?
for storms.
Yeah,
But at least 5 of us.
so you
Oh.
wanna,
2 extra guys, Letty, to answer your question.
yeah, so, but what you're not asking to have more people that are there all the time.
No,
You
no.
wanna have,
No, it's just in case somebody can't make it,
You have somebody to call.
available. Yeah.
so do you just have to put out a advertise for that?
Advertise. I mean, I think it's gonna be very hard for you to get that because there's a lot of guys lost a lot of help all around us. Right now, there's a lot of these sheds here are really short of help. And hopefully we can get somebody to,
so would,
Bless you.
but if we can't, we go where we got.
so would you wanna have like 2 more spots for 2 more people?
If you had, yeah, if you could just advertise for 2 more, we can set them up, and if we can use them, then we'll do it.
Motion.
Second. Roll call. Jim?
Aye.
Paul?
Yeah, aye.
Dave?
Aye.
Aye. All right,
Okay?
we'll get that posted.
All right, thank you.
Sue or Julie will work on that. Come on down.
Just a short statement Daphne asked me to read on her behalf. So a heartfelt thank you to our local fire department, especially Lieutenant Trevor Whitby, for providing such valuable AED CPR training. We truly appreciate your time, expertise, and dedication to helping our town office stay prepared. Your training gave us greater confidence to respond in an emergency. We are grateful for all that you do. Sincerely, Daphne Moss.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you. Before I step away, anything on the Inspector of Elections sign slips? Are you guys all set, or do you want to?
Yeah, we can do that right now.
Okay.
Inspector election slips.
Can I motion for all of them at once?
Sure. How many do we have? 1, 2,
It's usually up.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Does that sound right?
That sounds right.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Jim? He said aye. I could read it, but I didn't hear it. So that's
Okay.
5. So I'm just going to go ahead and sign. We have to sign each one of these, right? And then we just give it to you.
Okay.
You can't hear me?
We
No.
can now.
You can now. You were quiet for a second.
No, I said aye.
Okay. It looked like an aye.
You weren't listening, Bob.
All right. 9 signatures. Yeah, while we're waiting for that, or that signature's gonna go on, and we'll give it to you, and you can then swear at people or whatever, you have to swear them in whenever they get sworn in. We're gonna quickly just talk about the Fremont EMS contract. The committee has met, they're making recommendations, some were for 150,000, some were for 250, we still have to figure that out. I need to know, there's a bunch of questions that I would like to get the board's approval to submit to our legal counsel to find out what we have to do, as far as putting it on for a warrant article. I know there was a discussion about a 53-8 contract that we can enter into. I need to know how that works, because I think there was a warrant article in Fremont last year for it, so I'm assuming they have to put it on a warrant, we have to put it on a warrant, but I'd like to get the questions over to our legal counsel so they can have that discussion on that.
I don't think it has to go on our ballot because RSA 53A says we have the right as a board to submit a contract with these other towns without going through the board of people.
Yeah, the only thing is, because there is going to be a financial impact, so I just want to, there's requests for town council's opinion.
That's fine.
And so there's 1, 2, 3, 4,
What's the
5, 6,
financial
7,
impact?
8, 9, 10. Well, we would have to, if it's, it looks like it's going to be $150,000 would be, if we went with the 150, it would be 150 contribution from them and potential of 190,000 for billing, so it would be $340,000 impact, so we'd have to appropriate that at some point.
But no. And
My understanding is we would have to appropriate the money, because you still have to pay for the staffing.
we don't appropriate.
We
Well,
do
please-
appropriate the
please
fire.
let me finish. We-
No, I'm not done yet.
Okay.
We do appropriate the money for the ambulance, and then we have to pay it back through the
No, we don't.
revolving.
We don't.
We pay the payroll out of the revolving.
Out of the revolving, it does not hit the operating budget.
It has to hit it at some point.
It
We have
does-
to account for it
It does
somehow.
not.
How
That's
do you
what
pay for staffing and everything else?
What I'm saying is
It's a
Does-
revenue.
it's not accounted for in the operating budget. Therefore, we do not have to raise and appropriate it.
If we're gonna be taking $150,000 minimally, then we have to come up with that. So we have to
No, we
know how
don't.
we're gonna
No.
do that.
No, the entire thing that the chief presented to us over and over and over again is that there would be no cost to the taxpayer, that there's no risk to the taxpayer because it would be paid for by Fremont, and whatever Fremont doesn't cover would be covered out of the revolving fund.
Right, and then we'd have to have some type of a contract, because what if you don't receive the $190,000, but the total cost is $340?
Absolutely, we can write that into the contract.
Which then I'd have to have legal review anyway to find out what do we have to do for contractual
That's
agreements.
absolutely fine, but that does not stop us from putting forth a contract for legal to review.
Well, I want to see what legal has to say about these questions, because I'm not familiar with the SB2, and we do have SB2, and knowing that Fremont also just had a contract that went to SB2 and it failed, so,
And
yeah,
but-
and the school too, right?
Bob, can you just list, what are the specific
Yeah.
questions?
Authority to enter into an agreement. Does the select board have the authority to enter into the agreement with
Yes.
RSA chapter? So they want that answered. Appropriation,
Who,
this came from the committee from today.
okay, I haven't seen these, so I don't know.
They just gave it to me.
Can we just
At 5
hear the
o'clock,
questions?
yes. Appropriation and staffing, assuming current fire, it goes into a whole question about that. Multi-year commitments, how's that work with SB2? Because my understanding is if it is multi-year, you have to have some type of agreement. RSA 53A, it says state approval, so do we have to get the state's approval on an agreement? I don't know that, so I'm not familiar with that. EMS licensing and authority, do we have to get different licensing to operate? I don't know how that works. Mutual aid versus contracted EMS service, how's that work? Brentwood's obligation to respond, how's that work? Mutual aid implications, if they don't have EMS service, how's that work? RSA 53A procedural requirements, are we required to do anything different if we do the 53A? And what's the recommended structure based on all that information? So how's that work? So I think it's worthwhile to get legal's opinion on how we're doing. So I wanted to bring it forth tonight to make a recommendation or make a motion that we go ahead and submit this to legal counsel. But I need to get approval for that. So I'm making a motion that we do that. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, roll call. Jim?
Aye.
Paul?
What did he say?
He said aye.
Aye.
Letty?
Aye.
And I'm an aye, so it's 5. I'm gonna give this to Julie to get that over to legal. There was something else we had to.
How
bring to
quickly
legal.
can we get do you think we can get an answer about that by the time we have our next meeting?
Costs a lot of money for that.
Well, we have another, we just, and I guess that's gonna get us into the second discussion of the MRI contract, and we just received the draft audit, which we have to, it's pretty thick. So everyone can see, it's really thick.
24.
For 24, for ending December 31st, 24. And we had to get that over to legal for them to review. And it's a thick packet that they're gonna have to review, and, but there are some recommendations in here that we're gonna have to go through and have some discussions on. And,
Is there a possibility that Plodzik can present to us so we can, get a, like an oral presentation? Yeah. I just think that would be helpful because it's a pretty dense read.
Why did it have to go to legal?
they have to review, because we're supposed to sign off as a select board. And before we sign anything that has to do with an auditing, I think it's prudent to have them review it and make sure that it's, and they actually, Plotzik, or is that how I say it, Plotzik? They were recommending that we have legal review that.
Have we ever had to do that before?
I sent them a letter.
Yeah,
I sent them the letter that Plodzik has me send them, which I sent out by email today and will go by snail mail tomorrow.
And what was the gist of that, Julie? I'm sorry.
Just basically asking if there were any, during the time of the 2024 year, if there
This-
were any legal,
Oops, sorry.
yes.
This- Do we typically have to sign that for an audit, or is this the first time we've had to do that?
Send them an audit?
No, send
Oh,
this
I
document.
think it's routine.
Okay. Do you know, so the thing that's weird about this is that there were pending legal matters. If there were pending legal matters through the end of '24 that have now resolved, do we still need to disclose those for '24, or because we know that they ended up not?
Well, that's up to legal if they disclose them, I guess. Is that what you mean?
Kind of, I guess.
I mean, Plodzik is well aware of what was going on. They had,
Yeah, this
I
is
gave them,
a standard. It's a
Okay.
standard letter.
I gave them some,
I've had to reply to that kind of
Yeah.
letter for clients.
No, it's just interesting because
historically,
like, typically we would be doing the audit closer to when the,
oh, right.
when we
So, like-
finish it, yeah.
so like, it would be more speculative, whereas now it's a year and a half out and we know what has happened or not. Okay.
Yeah, and there's some,
Yeah, I mean,
They
they
got
would
some
just,
opinions
if there
on
was
here and
some,
stuff like
some
that.
sort of matter, they could just say it was resolved.
Is that this? Is that what he's looking at, or is he looking at something different?
yeah, they go over, in the report, it goes over material weaknesses and stuff like that.
Is that the one that has significant difficulties too? I just want to make sure I'm looking at the same.
He's looking at page 47 to the end.
Oh, this document that I'm looking at only has,
Oh,
there
he's
must be
looking
a-
at he's looking at the actual.
the longer one.
Yeah, this whole thing
Yeah, did you get the
is
longer one?
51 pages long.
I might
I
have
thought
gotten
I
both.
sent the whole thing.
I might have gotten both.
Oh, yeah, I sent everything.
I just printed the shorter one probably
Oh.
because it's only 8 pages and not 50 some odd.
It's a long read.
It is a very long read. I
Well,
started
there's a
perusing
lot of
it. It's
verbiage.
51 page, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here.
That's why, you know, I'm wondering if they do like a present.
Wasn't that what the shorter one is? I guess I took the shorter one to be a summary of the highlights.
You're looking at the independent auditor report? Is that what you
No,
mean?
it was a separate,
It was a separate thing
Oh.
that was like a shorter,
I didn't even read the shorter one. I just went.
here's
for
what we
the-
did.
I started,
Long
I
one.
started reading the meat and potatoes, I guess, is what I
Okay.
started looking at, and I was just like, and then I look at what the material weaknesses is, we need to focus on that. Timely preparation and review of monthly bank reconciliations is a material weakness.
Should we be getting into all that until this is like a finalized report?
We
Right
can't
now, it's
finalize it
just
until we
stamped
figure
as
it
a
out.
draft.
Yeah, we have to kind of go over that. There's some recommendations and stuff that they
Lot of
have in here. There's a lot of recommendations and stuff that are gonna change.
Weren't we just discussing whether to send this to legal?
Sending it to legal or not doesn't absolve us of having to figure out how we're gonna move forward though, right? I think
Right.
Is what
We're
Bob's saying.
still gonna have to go over
Yeah.
and figure out how we address.
Implement, yeah.
We gotta address the material weaknesses that, you know, because one of the things that I think was kind of. a
Separate
recurring-
discussion though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a discussion. One of the things that I think was a recurring theme that I saw that was in here was, essentially, it's gonna be, you know, in a potential effect is gonna happen again and again until we fix it.
Right.
So we have to do some fixes.
So I think it would be helpful to have someone.
Yeah, I
know,
guess
if
if they
they're-
can come here and they can summarize it.
I don't
for
know that
us.
they're gonna give us advice though. There was something I read about how
Oh, yeah, they won't give it.
they won't tell us.
No, but I mean, there's
but they
recommendations in
can-
here, yeah.
They can kind of parse out the recommendations.
Is it gonna cost us money for them to do that?
I can ask him all of those questions.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Because we might have access to other resources that could parse this that wouldn't cost us money if that's the case.
yeah, I mean, and I'm hoping that we're starting to get, and as things start getting, you know, like Linda mentioned earlier, that she's moving things here and there and trying to return some of the money to like the police department where it was supposed to be going, but it was just sitting there.
It's definitely going in the right direction.
So if we can kind of sort all that out, but some of the conditions are, it needs to be addressed. And so when I look at
no
the
doubt.
weaknesses, it's stuff that we have to address. So I agree with Paul that we should have them come in, and I would recommend that. What's the rest of the board think?
I want to know if it's going to cost us
Yeah,
more money,
right.
because one of the things they mentioned in this other one, ooh, you okay, bud? Okay? Yeah, great. Time and cost of the audit was compounded by some of the things that you're mentioning, so I don't know if we're going to overspend our line already. I don't want to add more.
But I also don't think it's prudent to have someone else come in and talk about this audit that they themselves did. I think it would be, you know, it would be to our advantage to have the people that did the audit tell us about it, not someone else.
Agree. And then I think maybe having Linda here too, when they're telling us about it.
Yeah. All right.
So
So
what's everyone think?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it. Paul,
Just to get,
just to get them to come in and
Well,
explain.
Yeah, or
and
find
find out if
out.
it's gonna cost.
Find out
I
if
will-
it's gonna
yeah.
cost us anything too, right? So
Yep.
we
Find
can
out
have
how
that
much it will cost
discussion.
to have them come in.
And then if we agree to it, then how quick can we get them to come in here? And I think it probably should be a discussion in public anyway.
The only reason why I mention it is because I was on a board of a nonprofit, and I believe it was with Plodzik, where they would actually come in and present the, you know, audit orally, and I just found that to be extremely helpful because it's a difficult, you know, read.
Yeah, and I would definitely even encourage like, you know, BudCom to attend too, so we can,
Could we
have
maybe
kind of
have
a-
it as like a special,
yeah, a special meeting where they can kind of review it. Again, it goes from 47, page 47 to 51 is the
Right.
material weaknesses, and I really want them to get.
how does
into
that
the meat and potatoes
compare
of that.
to last year or to the previous year, do we know?
Oh, I don't,
Right here.
Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, this
It's
is,
possible that that's not atypical.
I'm assuming it's taken this long to do the report. The audit is for 24, for December 31st of 24, and the draft is 8/13/2026. We were told we were gonna have it in May, and here we are in August, and we're getting this report, and we need to close this out before we can even do any more bonds, and we still have to close out 25. So, so we had a motion and a second. I'm all for reaching out to them and seeing if they can come in. I think it would be beneficial for everybody to get an understanding of where we're going and how we're gonna address
If,
this situation.
if we do it in a public forum, I don't think they'd be too keen on spending a lot of time answering public
Well, I
questions.
think it would be
I
a
mean, from the board is fine, but I mean.
I think it
if
would be a
there's
special meeting that we would basically, an informational session.
We're not required to have public comment.
Yeah. We don't have to have public comment. It's just, I think it would be a special meeting, and I would, encourage that. So I'm all for it. So Jim?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
Letty?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. If we could get that done, that'd be great.
I-
And again,
I-
it's 51 pages, so it's a thick
If I could just make a real quick comment, at least my, initial read, and I agree with you, Bob, about the concern with regard to the material weaknesses. But, the one thing, and, we've heard this, for a long time that, where's the money? Where's the money? There's no indication of that whatsoever, at least in my read of this report, that there's money.
No implication of what, Paul?
Of money not being.
Ernie malfeasance.
Yeah, money not being.
Missing?
Yeah.
Or, right,
Exactly.
Right.
right.
I
Exactly.
think it's just a matter of
No, but I mean,
accounting practices.
people wanting to know where the money is, there was a substantial total number of journal entry adjustments.
Yes.
Oh, no doubt.
So like,
But that's
it's not missing, but it was maybe not where it belonged. And I think,
Well, I think the journal entries are just because there was nothing done from September to the end of the year.
sure, but I think it's okay to acknowledge that.
Yeah,
Well,
but
that
that's
that
not
was
any
that was why I
indication.
started out by saying I agree that there were material weaknesses that need to be addressed.
And their,
Just because there are journal
recommendations.
entries
No,
doesn't
I
mean
don't,
that there were
I don't want people,
misappropriation of
I-
funds.
all of these documents will eventually be public.
Sure.
And I don't want people to see that number and be like, oh my gosh, they're saying that there was no problem. I'm like, well,
Yeah, but journal entries aren't
Uh,
an indication.
I
of a
know that.
problem.
I know that.
Okay.
And some people in the public might know that, but the average person might see that number and panic, thinking, oh my gosh, they said it was fine. It's like that number doesn't mean that there's a problem. That means we know where the money is. We might have had to move it from here to there or make a correction, but there's none missing, I think is what you're saying. I just
Yeah.
wanted to verify.
I mean, we do journal entries.
That's what I said
all
when
the
I was
time.
chair.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
And then,
Jail yet.
yeah, and then the other thing too is really, how do we prevent from having delays like this going forward?
Right.
And putting the proper procedures in and making sure we're staffing the way the recommendations are and how we move forward as far as capturing the data and making sure the entries are done, so we're not sitting in 26 correcting entries from 24 and trying to backtrack. Because right now, we're just redoing a lot of work that was maybe not put in the right place at the right time, and now it has to be correct. It needs to be captured.
And part of that is having the proper people in the proper places, right? So the staff, which we've been working on, and we have very good, capable people in positions now that will prevent this from happening in the future.
And there are some, we have to look at the staffing recommendations and what they're recommending too, right? Like,
Mhm.
I know there's going to be some more financial aspects.
Yeah,
Where you have to-
people change, but,
Yeah.
there need to be policies in place that,
Right,
address
agreed.
some of the issues, so.
And then we were going to talk about the MRI contract also. Yeah, sure. Sure, go ahead.
While he's getting up, just for reference, the 2023 audit was 59 pages, so
Okay.
we're doing okay. It's typically a really long document.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Shed Miller, Dudley Road.
Based on my past experience with audits, usually audit contracts provide for a report out to management. It's often called a management meeting or like, so I mean, I think that should be included in the cost. And I'd be surprised if it wasn't, so you might want to ask that question. So a lot of us have been wondering when the audit would finally come out. Audits usually have a one-liner somewhere that says it was a qualified audit, or it was non-qualified, or it was, is there a conclusion reached like that? Usually it's in the first couple sentences. This should be like a cover letter that says, adverse and.
There wasn't really a conclusion like that. It's a little more dense.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, usually, I mean, is that the final report?
Shorter one.
It's a draft.
This is like, I thought this was a summary of that, but it sounds like it might be something different.
All right, it's, Summary of opinions, it just basically says adverse, type of opinion, adverse, general fund, unmodified, aggregate remaining fund information, unmodified. I'd say that's a very unqualified audit.
Right, so it kind of, I need,
Yeah,
I need,
yeah, if it's completely adverse.
yeah, so I need,
I've never had the opportunity to see one of those, so I'm not quite sure how it reads. All right, thank you.
they do have now it's supplementary, so it's not even a summary. They're gonna have to explain it to us. I mean, it goes into employment and stuff like that. There's a whole discussion thing in here. And analysis. I mean, there's a lot in here. There's a lot to this report. All right, and then we had MRI contract.
Yeah, that's it. I don't. This is to finish we had asked them to do a reconciliation of the general fund, which they maxed out the amount of time we gave them. So if we want them to finish doing that, this would continue that. I had asked Sue to ask them if we could push out some of the payment of it till 2027 to put in the 27, try and budget for it in 2027, but there's nothing in there about that. So I don't know if the question got asked or not. And asked for a will not exceed number, and there's nothing in that either.
Yeah, and I mean, the prices, financial support consultant is $70 an hour. Senior finance consultant is $110 an hour.
Is this the same thing that they were doing before, or is this something different?
This is a continuation of that.
Continuation of the general
Sorry,
ledger
let me rephrase.
reconciliations.
They used to do that for us up until
Oh, yeah, you-
January of 2024. And so I was wondering if this is a similar service or if this is something different. And how does this cost compare to what it used to cost us?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, they were probably doing it on an ongoing basis. This is going back and,
This is
fix
only
it.
reconciliation to 12/31/25.
I mean, I would imagine it would be a different price to just doing it on an ongoing basis. I don't know. I would have to go back
yeah,
and look.
so we need an estimate, right, of like.
I need a
where-
budget,
Of
yeah.
where they're at, you know, so
And-
maybe we
and
can.
I-
How much more are they gonna charge us? And they didn't put that in here. It's just a
Right.
matter of us accepting the agreed price. And I don't think we're in a position to accept it at this point, but that's
What's the alternative, though? Because we have to reconcile 25.
either we're paying for someone to do it or we're paying for someone to do it. So it's just a matter of how much we're paying to do it.
Yeah,
So
but I mean, it still behooves us to find
Yeah.
out, you know, from them, so we know what we're dealing with.
like, how many hours are they looking at? Because this
Exactly,
is
yeah.
just an hourly thing. So
It's open-ended.
yeah, I'd like to know, like, if they
Table
want
it.
to start $3,000 or do they want $30,000? I need to know that.
I mean, I would think that they've done this enough times in other towns that they would have a sense of how long it should take.
Well, how much have they gotten done so far with what because how much did we, was it a
They've-
dollar amount that we picked or an hour?
We did 50 hours.
Okay, do you know what date they got up to?
Well, I think they've gotten through most of the years and months of the year, and they compiled a number of questions, which then need journal entries made for, and I think they would do all that investigative work and make the entries for
So can we just table it and then find out that information? I mean, is there a problem in?
No?
No.
Okay.
I'm fine with tabling it.
Who's doing this now?
Jillian's been gathering some of the information,
No, I mean,
answering their
I
questions.
mean, like, who's doing this for us in 2026?
Well, processes have been changed a lot, but we can't, we need 25
The answer is no one.
reconciled. Right, because we don't have a beginning number to start with. We have been reconciling, not to the exact number, because we don't have the ending number.
But there's at
for
least record
2025.
keeping for
Yes.
each month so that when that number
Yes,
becomes.
and,
Okay.
yes, and with the systems put in place, there's not all of the journal entries that we used to have for posting revenues and expenses. Now that they're going automatically into the ambulance and rec.
Instead of having to
resign.
move them
Right,
over and over.
yes, or them not getting moved, which was the case for a long time.
And that's, again, there's a lot of rework, right? If it's not getting moved or not put in the right location, then it just becomes an accounting nightmare. And I think we're just trying to sort that all out. All right. 20, so we're going to table that so you can get some more information on that. 2027 budget process. I know right now Sue has started having those discussions, reaching out, but we don't know what the Social Security factorization
that
is.
for a
When do
while.
we find that out?
October usually is when that comes in.
So October, so at least people can start putting together what their budgets are, like salt and sand, stuff like that, like what's your meat and potatoes that you're gonna need, and then we can figure out what the impact is, what our raise structure is gonna be, but at least we want to start making sure that those discussions are starting to be had. And I know Sue has already started reaching out to the department heads, trying to get them to start preparing their budgets so we're not chasing the ball, so to speak, and we have everything kind of lined up. So then when we do figure out what the merit raises or increases are going to be, that we can actually probably just enter something in and come up with a quick budget. So it helps the budget process and we're all on the same page. So that's working through. Before we get to the IRS fees.
Oh, can I just?
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Sure,
I
go
had a
ahead.
question about.
On the budget process, we do now have from MRI, we have the budgeting software. And I know the department heads, I believe, are all getting trained on how to enter their budgets into that next week. So the plan is to have them enter their budgets into the budgeting software. And it's great, it gives them area to put in notes, or they can upload documents into that portal to go right along with their budgets. So they will get trained on that next month, and that does download to a Excel spreadsheet, Jim, if the budget committee prefers to have it in Excel. I don't know if you want to start talking about like when she should start the budget presentations and get a calendar out for that.
Yeah, it looks like they're.
Typically, we'd start in September, so.
September 14th, I think, is the first meeting for BudCom. So she probably should start having those conversations. Actually, yes, September 14th. I'm looking at this right, right? Yeah. So September 14th is the first BudCom meeting. So she probably should have those at least probably starting September 1st to the 14th, starting those discussions with department heads
What?
of what they're looking for, anticipation. Like if I have to buy
It's 2 weeks away. I
That-
don't know.
that's
two more
really-
cruisers and stuff,
I'm
I
not
want to
ups-
see what they're
I-
planning.
So I think,
Maybe some of this
It starts the
easier
discussion,
budgets. She might be able to,
so,
yeah.
yeah, but we can't make decisions on anything until we know what the.
We're not
total
making
is.
decisions, but you want to start having,
No, but you are, so,
I want to start having the discussions so
But-
people are aware of what we're looking for.
okay. My understanding, and I will defer to the budget committee chair, but like, my understanding is that they start looking at the budgets that we look at, and then they approve them right after we approve them, and that happens in September. Unless there's gonna be a different timeline this year.
I don't think they started looking into the stuff until they started their meetings and then starting to get their appetite and seeing what's going on and what people are looking for. And then I know they started really moving things forward in October and November, once they started getting, this is what I'm looking for, stuff like that last year.
No,
I
no,
think
we got,
September is just the
we got
discussion
all of the
process.
budgets at the beginning, so that as we were going through them, we knew kind of what the bottom line number was, so we knew where we wanted to make cuts. It sounds like you're suggesting a different process this time?
I want to start having those, like, she's already started asking them to start preparing their budgets. Don't put an increase in the salaries or anything, because we haven't finalized that yet. But give me an idea of where your budget's going to come in. So those discussions Sue started having last week, sending out emails and asking people to start sending that over to her.
I guess I'll look.
Go ahead.
Jim Hazard, Budget Committee Chair. I know last year, because it was our first year with a tax cap, we all had agreed, like, we want to get an early start because, it was our first time. And I believe the date was the original that when and Letty sent it out last year because we didn't have a TA, they were due on September 25th, I think, was the due date. I don't think you need to look at that September 14th date as a date when you need to do anything. That's just, look, the Budget Committee's been off. It's just us getting together for the first time. We just had our first site walk. I do feel, I think we together, Budget Committee and Select Board, know how to do the tax cap. I don't think that's going to be any problem this year. We'll be able to calculate that number a lot easier because we know how to do it. Obviously, there's the default budget, but I'm willing to give, again, we'll have a session on default budget. We've already reviewed it at Budget Committee, but I'll do it here as well. My thing is, I just don't feel rushed by that September 14th date. I don't. I need to back up. I haven't gotten the date yet, because we're an SB2 town now. January to December's SB2 town. I'm pretty sure they probably have the calendar out now, DRA. But I usually if I had it.
It hasn't been there.
Yeah, I looked last week. I didn't find it, but there's going to be the date when we have the final day when we would have the public hearing, right? And we'd sign off on it. We could back off of that, but that's not going to be until February or something, so I don't think you need to rush this. I think it's good that you give all of us, and I'm a department head as well, you give us time to think about it and get you our first draft. The one thing I would ask as a department head and as on the Budget Committee is that the department heads are going to be involved. Once you come up with a number for a raise, it isn't something, at least I don't know how at a budget level, just to magically make it appear, because depending on how many employees they have, the department heads are allowed to, with merit and thing, right, move it around. And so it's going to be, my fear is that we have them come in and they give us this whole overview, but then you guys vote. And then you come back and tell me like 3 weeks later or something like, oh, here's the raise.
Last year with the placeholder.
Right. And I just think that, I have no problem with you asking me as the department to give you my initial whatever, but I think before we get hot and heavy into this, I would like to see you come up with what the raises would be, because then I think each department head, we can give you a budget with a number that's pretty close to what it needs to be, and not get into having to do it twice. That's
Okay.
what I would.
While I'm looking at it, because this is earlier than I expected it to be, last day to hold public hearing on annual budget is January 19th.
Okay, so does that
I'd have to look.
So
Isn't
does
that
that
about when we
include
did
for
it
warrant
last?
articles and stuff? I thought we had until February 1st for warrant articles.
That's when we were town meeting. We are now SB2.
Me too. Right.
So when would warrant articles have to be discussed? Does it say?
Probably like the week or two before that. Sorry, I was looking specifically for when the public hearing on the annual budget was. It would have to be before that, because
Yeah, because
everything.
the deliberative,
Oh.
you need.
Last day for voters to petition the select board to include an article. January 8th, maybe?
So 11 days before.
Like I said,
So-
I'm reading very, very quickly, so.
We could get that.
It
by
looks like the entire, oh no, January 12th, last day for voters to petition select board to include an article
12th, okay.
on the town meeting warrant. The other one was for if it's a bond, there's an earlier deadline.
What's the bond? I'm just thinking if we did like a police
If
officer
the-
thing.
This is just, sorry. January 12th is last day for voters to petition select board to include an article in the town meeting warrant. That's just a regular warrant article. If it's a bond issue petitioned by, hold on. January 8th, last day for voters to petition select board to include an article on the warrant proposing a bond. But that's separate from us proposing.
Okay, that's.
But that's all
That's
like a
everything,
month
yeah,
earlier
yeah.
than we're accustomed to.
Yeah, because I always thought they had until February 1st or something, but you're right, we're now SB2, so we have to learn that process.
But again,
Okay.
even with those dates, you're talking December, November, October, September. These are all full months, right? Like, so I just would ask, I have no problem with the process going. I just wanted you to know that that September 14th meeting is just our first, let's get started meeting and what do we think we're going to need, et cetera. But as you know, and I think Letty said this, the department heads, we submit to you our request. You guys discuss it with each department head and you come up with your recommended. And then once you have the recommended, then that's when the budget committee, we take it quickly after that to try to get them in and try to do, you know, the magic and get the actual approved budget done. So, and I just urge you to, I think we should try to lock down on the salary and merit thing before us department heads, each of us get
And
too
you said
involved
that's
with trying to
October?
do our budgets
So-
because.
Historically, the last couple, like last year is not a good example, but historically, I think 3 bearings would provide a suggested.
Okay,
I think I'm looking at you because you were on the board when that would have happened.
okay,
And then that number would then be split into like the COLA, which is the Social Security office, and then merit, which is optional based on employee reviews or whatever.
okay.
I don't know if that's what we want to do this year.
Yeah,
Inflation is crazy, so I don't know
Yeah.
how we're gonna handle that.
yeah, discussions and. Right, as long, at least Sue has already started having those discussions, kind of putting it on people's radar, because I know this stuff, if you don't talk about it, it just has a habit of snowballing, and then next thing, everyone's chasing the fuzzy ball.
Well, the other thing that you have to remember is Sue is new to this.
Yeah.
And she's getting a feel for each department and she wants to get a head start on things. So I think it's prudent on her part and, you know, kudos to her.
I know this came up, you had mentioned, sorry, not MRI, but MTS.
Yeah.
How department heads are gonna be able to run their own reports. Could I have access to run reports too?
For what department?
The entire budget.
It's not up to me.
How historically have we done that?
I print them out monthly, the end of the month.
Yeah, and you get us a report, so.
Is there any reason that I couldn't run my own report? It doesn't cost anyone anything, I can't make any changes.
Who typically accesses that?
The department heads and
Whoever we
TA
decide.
and Jillian.
What's the board's thoughts on giving individual select board members access to run reports?
All of us are just one.
All of us.
All of us.
I mean,
Well,
if anyone else wants.
If one's doing it, they're all doing it.
Well, that doesn't mean, I mean, it doesn't mean that you will, but I
Right.
think the
It's
whole
just-
board should have
yeah.
access to
And to what end?
so I can run reports. To find out information. If I have questions, I can answer them myself, as opposed to having to email someone to find out.
I was just gonna say that I have requested this to the chair, to the TA 3 times. As the budget committee chair, I think I should have the ability to run read-only reports on all the accounts. These are read-only. I have no access to change anything. Per RSA, I am allowed to, evaluate revenue and expenditures for the town. And I've already talked to Sue about this, so, and she's, we're working together to come up with a Q3 kind of summary for budget and select board, that kind of state of the union type thing for Q3. But again, I've asked, so if you have a member here asking for that, I just think that as the chair of the budget committee, I should also have that. Again, it's read only, and I should be able to run an expenditure report, or I should be able to run a revenue report with, either summary or detailed. And the town gave me training on how to do it. It was really good. And I currently do it for cemetery myself. I can do it for the budget committee account. I do it for Wayne, for the highway. I run his reports and I email it to him. And Laura also got training and she runs it for her welfare department. But I'm just saying, as budget committee chair, I should be able to run it for any and all of it, and be able to look at those revenues and look at accounts, and as well as the expenditures in the general fund and all of the other accounts, whether it be police revolving, whether it be fire revolving, rec, or impact fee.
What's
What is
the
it right now, just department heads? Are we-
department heads and,
Department heads can look at only their own budgets,
Who can run them off, just the TA?
TA or Jillian.
And you would get us monthly reports.
And then we get the monthly reports, which we review, and I know we're oversight, so I don't want to.
I'm okay with leaving it the way that it is and giving Jim access like he asked as budget committee chair.
Can someone explain to me why you would not want me to be able to see these reports?
I can.
Okay.
Having sat in that office, we would be micromanaged to no end, and we would be questioned nonstop about everything without given the opportunity to make sure everything is the way we want it the way it should be before it's presented.
Presented where, though? When
On your monthly report.
But I feel like you...
I just wouldn't want to open the door to someone constantly saying, I looked and you posted this one thing to the wrong account. Okay, well, we'll catch it and we'll fix it. Just,
So once a month is.
right. I know when it's printed.
Oversight, yeah, okay.
It's, yeah.
I'm all for just having oversight. When I got back on the board, that was one of the things that I said is just give me a printout once a month and I'm
I
happy.
think we should keep it the way it is now, just let the
Okay.
TA and Jillian.
But
do it.
I think the thing that I'm struggling with is that's not something that I've ever done. I've never questioned what you're doing. If I see something that looks incorrect, it sounds like, based on the audit report that Bob's talking about, that's a problem we've had for a long time now.
Well,
of
I think
things not being correct.
part of the audit
Because
report
there
that
wasn't
I'm,
anyone doing that work.
one of the things from the-
About a year.
Absolutely.
one of the things from the audit report that I've seen is some of their recommendations is really with the treasurer and the entries as far as the TA and the assistant of how they're entering them in. There are some recommendations also in position requirements that I think they're making recommendations for, that as a board, we're gonna have to look at and make sure that we have the proper positions in place and the proper people in place in order to implement what their assessment and addressing some of the deficiencies that they're seeing and what their recommendations are on how we move forward to make sure that we aren't in a position where we're 2 years behind the 8 ball. And I think I don't want to create a position where it's almost like an uncomfortable environment for staff, because there's, based on what I'm seeing preliminary from looking through this audit, is there's going to have to be some changes and workarounds that we're going to have to create on that end, which is going to create enough tension, I think, already, and workload for and relearning and re-education processes for some of the employees we have, or getting people the skill set in order to do what they're asking us for. And I think I don't want to create an environment where it's it's an uncomfortable environment or a micromanaged environment. So I'm okay with having us get in a monthly report. We review it. If we have questions, we can come up with those questions.
It sounds
and
like
present them.
Julie would prefer I not ask those questions. I think this is the part.
Well, I
that
think
I'm
we can ask the
confused by.
questions here and then they go back and get us the answer and come back to us.
Right,
We're
or
gonna
I
be
wouldn't-
meeting weekly,
But,
so.
but
wouldn't want-
historically, that has not been the case.
I wouldn't want department heads now, you know, if you're looking through it and you have a question about rec and then you're asking rec,
But I've
questions.
not done that.
but you haven't also had access to the
I have
budgets.
before,
Yeah, before, but not since the beginning of the year.
right? But I didn't operate that way when I did. So why would I begin to operate that way now?
Let's just leave it the way it is. Let you and Julian.
What's everyone else's thoughts?
Well,
Paul,
and if
you
you
okay
wanna
with
wait-
leaving it the way it is?
If you want to wait and discuss it with.
I
Sue.
am. I mean, you know, I have thoughts that go either way, to be honest with you. I mean, I understand the idea for, you know, having access to information, and I think Jim, you know, expressed that. Any one of us as select board members, you know, ought to have that. On the other hand, that's why I asked the question, to what end?
Yeah.
Is it really, you know, necessary?
I'll make a motion.
It may
to
not be
leave it the way that
necessary
it
for
is.
me, it may be necessary for someone else. You know, who am I to judge?
I think you're being asked to judge by
I
deciding
don't.
if you're gonna vote.
All right, so
I
Jim just made a motion that we leave it the way it is. I'm okay with giving
I think Linda had
Budcom.
a comment.
Okay, go ahead, Linda.
Just as the treasurer, if I can add my 2 cents, just, I'd ask you to revisit giving more access to reporting to people in another 6 months from now, because you have me who's new, you have Sue who's new, you have a really strong team in place who cares about what's being done and having it done accurately. Even with very little interference, some of the things that I've done have been significantly time consuming. And if we start having all these other questions prompted with good cause, I'm not
Right.
saying that there's something
that.
bad
Again,
coming from
I don't know
it.
why anyone thinks that that's what's gonna happen. Again, my intent was to eliminate some of these questions. I know I had asked questions a couple months back, Bob,
Mhm.
and you specifically said, we can't answer that question for you. If I could have run that report myself, it would have taken it entirely off of their plate.
But I'm not
I
gonna
think the
say that
question
having
is
access
more-
to a report was gonna give you a clear answer with the current state of what the financials look like. I think it
Especially
could
if
only
it
create
took-
more.
It took, Plotzik, or I think that's their name, Plotzik, I can never say it properly. It took Plotzik until 8/13/2026 to, so that's almost a year and 8 months for them to kind of sort out the data. I don't know if somebody else going in there and analyzing it when
I'm
they're an
not-
accounting firm doing that too for financial
I'm not
reporting.
analyzing anything.
There's a motion on the floor.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor to leave it as is. Are you okay with giving access to Budcom? Sure.
Yes.
Well, then that's
To do
changing
the-
what we're talking about.
Okay,
Then we
right,
change it,
okay,
right?
so leave it as is?
I mean.
Okay, so
I'm gonna
are you,
work with Julie on that. I mean, she needs to.
right, are you a second on that?
I was second on that.
All right, all in favor? Jim,
Aye.
Paul,
No.
Aye.
No.
There you go. That's why you're the big guy. Make a decision.
If it becomes problematic, you can revoke my access. Like, if that's really the
How about
concern you
revisit
have.
it, like Linda says, in a few months.
Yeah.
I'm
well,
gonna say aye, and I'm gonna say let's revisit it in 6 months to see where
Or
we
even
go.
do 3 months.
3 months,
whatever.
we'll do it in 3
I
months.
think that's a great.
So
idea.
if we can table this for 3 months, we revisit it, it gives Linda, it gives Sue and everybody else time to kind of get their head around what they have. And also it gives us some understanding of what's going on with Plotzik and what their recommendations are, because based on this 50 some odd page document, 51 page document, I think last year was 57, there's going to be some changes and stuff that we have to do with our services and processes that we do in order to make sure that we're doing things. And actually, that may be one of the things we want to ask them. Who should have access to these financial reports? Because I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. So, go ahead, Betsy.
Betsy Ibbotson, Scrabble Road. You guys asked Letty to do a lot. Well, you used to. She used to, when we went with the other TA who left, her and Jen kind of ran the town for a very long time. She was very well trusted then. Recently, for some reason, you guys don't trust her. Someone did a 91A. We don't know stuff. Everybody looks at Letty for answers. So she's saying, I just want to look at the stuff ahead of time. She could probably know a lot of this stuff faster than anybody else in this room, because she's the one that dealt with it for over a year.
In
So for
24
some
and
reason-
25, right?
Yes. And so she's the one that knows the most about it than anybody else.
Right. The only
And
problem is,
I saw the little smile, I'm sure, with that, you know, but maybe
No,
not.
I'm
But
actually
you
looking at
guys-
you. but
People,
okay.
people depend on Letty for a lot of stuff. So she sits in here and she tries to say something. You don't let her finish the question. And let her finish her questions. And I personally, we voted for her to be a select board member. Why shouldn't she have that information?
Noted. Thank you. Okay. IRS fees, we have to discuss that, but I'd like to, that's going to be, I think, a longer discussion. So, all right.
You don't want to,
Hold on a minute. Jim, Betsy, we're back over here. There you go. Thank you. I was about to punch my hand on the table because we're still having a meeting. All right, we'll get into this. We'll go over the fees, IRS fees, before I get into poor Jason, who's been sitting here.
oh, well, do you want to do that first?
Yeah, I was going to go over to Jason. We had, so they put out a request for proposal for putting the irrigation in. We have the funds in our impact fees, and this is to put new irrigation in the lower fields. We put out the RFP. We got 6 proposals in. They ranged anywhere from $27,407.75 up to $119,451.88 out of those 6. And then we looked at, and we did this last night, we looked at warranties and, you know, the warranties on it. 2 of them had 2 years, but then there were some that recommended additional stuff that they would recommend that wasn't in their RFP. We wanted a guaranteed not to exceed, and how long would it take to get this project done? Ultimately, based on review of the 6 proposals that came in, and again, they were varied, we settled on up to the 36.5. But there is another feature for $400, so it can go to 36.9 if they want to make them Wi-Fi, where they can access it from wherever. So I would like to make a motion that we approve to go to 36.9 and let them have that discussion.
Can I just ask a question?
Sure.
Is the same tank gonna be used as supplies the one we got now?
Yep, and they,
We're just adding more piping?
you're adding more piping, and it would go off at different
It's gonna
times.
be on the way farther soccer field, lower field? way
Yeah,
in the
lower
back?
fields, yep. And it was gonna put 95 more heads. The cool thing that I liked is the valve box can hold up to 54? Control panel can hold up to 54 different zones, which is huge. And they're gonna update it, and the reason that I liked the 36.5, if we put the 400, if they decide to go to Wi-Fi, great, but I'd like to at least give them the 36.5. The reason I liked that proposal is it wasn't like, oh, and you have to find an electrician, oh, and you have to do this. So it wasn't like one person recommended the pump, they came in cheaper, but then if I have to replace the pump, one of the things was $6,600. So I'm really not looking at that far. So they're recommending 36.5. I'd like to make a motion to go to the 36.9 out of impact fees.
What's the turnaround on getting that done? You do it all?
He said he could get that done. He said 4 to 5 days and first week of September.
There you go. I was got it. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, no, I was just gonna say what exactly you
Yeah.
said there. So yeah,
So-
beginning of September, 4 to 5 days. What do you think?
Yeah, Jason, I just want to commend you for putting together, you know, the whole bid process.
Thank you.
I know in the past, that hasn't always happened. And, you know, to see it happening here and it being done, you know, the right way and then going through the bids and making a reasoned selection, I think is excellent.
Thank you.
And especially seeing the variety of the, I mean, it's huge.
Right,
27,000 to 119,000 was insane.
Mhm.
So, and ultimately, we narrowed it down to, I like the fact that there's a 2-year warranty and they're including the winterization and stuff like that as part of that.
Who's the
installation.
contractor on this?
Rainscape,
And they're out of
Greenland.
Greenland.
Okay. Yeah, I'll second.
How much money is in the impact fee account?
59.
We are, I don't have the exact number, but 60,000 and a little bit of change.
And has that been fully reconciled?
That number
Impact
came
fees?
from Linda, so I'm assuming that's accurate.
What's that, impact fee?
Yeah.
Impact fee is correct, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's accurate. So they have the money in the impact fees. It's new. So it would be, that's where they want to use it from.
Because it's an addition to the, it's
It's
not a
new.
replacement
It's a
of
new,
the
right.
existing
It's not
system, it's
repairing or
adding it on.
replacing. It's a complete add-on. And,
The lower fields need it.
yeah, lower fields.
Correct.
And I like the fact that this guy said pretty much he wasn't gonna damage. There was one that I think was gonna do some damage to the parking lot.
Yeah, there's gonna be there'd be, one of the contractors said that they would have to do some work in the parking lot. This individual said that there'd be no, interruptions with the parking lot at all, so.
So, so we have a motion and a second.
Who was the second? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, I did a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right.
Aye. Jim? There you go. You're good to go.
Thank you very much.
Sir. If you want to reach out to Rainscape and then schedule that process. Thank you. And I think,
Thanks,
do you
Jason.
have to sign a contract? You'll have to get that to them to sign, or do we sign that?
Usually you would, or we could authorize Sue to sign it for us.
Rainscape, let me see what they have. We got, yeah, here it is right here. So I'm authorized to sign this agreement.
Yep, you just voted, yep.
18. You want to get her a copy of it? Scan it and email. Thank you. Actually, yeah, because this one's got writing all over it. I've already written all over that one, so that's a clean one. Okay, now let's go to the IRS fees.
Do you want me to recap the whole?
Yeah, give us the scenario so everyone in the public gets to know what we're talking about.
It was recently discovered that payroll taxes for the end of 24 into April of 25. How it works is that when payroll is done, the payroll taxes go into an account in the bank, and then someone else has to go in and release that payment. Well, the money went into the bank and went out and didn't get released, so came back in. So the money never made it to the IRS.
That was in March of 25.
Starting in December of 24 through the beginning of April in 2025. Not every single week, but almost every week. There was $50,581.92 of payroll taxes that were not paid. And on top of that, we got interest and penalties and another $28,761.68. So that all has to be paid. The payment has been made so that we stopped accruing penalties and interest. The payroll taxes were put in as an expense in the proper months, so those are on the books as being expensed. The money just never came out of the general fund. So we don't have to post the expense for the payroll taxes, we just have to post the penalty and interest.
So the bigger part of that does not have to come out of the operating budget this year.
No, correct.
Okay.
The money has to come out of the general fund, as it should have back then, but, right, there's, the hit to the budget will be the almost $29,000. So the question is where to post that on the budget. It's obviously going to exceed any line we have in there. And there's nothing in our budget for penalties or interest anywhere.
Expenditure offset would be my suggestion.
I
Right.
was thinking tan.
It's not a TAN.
We
Yeah,
have usually some money sitting in the TAN.
There's no money in TAN because we don't use TANs for anything.
there's no money left in the offset account because we spent that last week, but it's somewhere, or.
I
last
think
meeting.
that's where we'd have to record it if it doesn't fit on any other line, right?
Then we
Like
have
the
to-
reserve, the reserve line. Is that what you're talking about?
The expenditure offset in the general government
I mean,
Line.
I guess there are other,
will exceed it, but as long as we don't
Miscellaneous.
exceed the final budget.
I
at
don't
the
have
end.
it, are there other lines in the executive?
There's miscellaneous expenses under general government.
Is there anything in the finance budget? It's gonna exceed any line.
Right.
This, in my mind, is more about record keeping so that when we're doing the budget, we know what that expense is and it's not something we have to budget for moving forward.
Yeah.
Miscellaneous expenses sounds good. It's miscellaneous.
And just put a line entry note in there that this is due to fees and
Yeah.
Does
interest.
the new system allow you to put notes on individual charges? That would make sense to me.
And we can scan a document in and have it attached. to
That would
it.
absolutely make sense then.
And then we had, so was that
So that's under
79,000?
general,
Wasn't there two of them? 79,000 and
well, this one, we just need to post the penalties and interest
what?
of
Okay.
the 28. And then there was it was 10,000 from, what was that one? Oh, that Ambrose missed from this year.
Similar IRS stuff, right?
Right, where it went out and came back.
And then it was put into a different account.
Okay, so it's been paid, which is great. We're not still
Right.
having,
Yeah, we had to stop the hemorrhage, but
So,
now we gotta figure out where to put it.
general government miscellaneous expense.
sorry, I'm trying to zoom in on the,
I like that one. General government miscellaneous.
And we
I
got
mean, this-
Zero in there, right?
this all kind of comes down to,
Yeah, we've gone over that already, that amount already.
doesn't matter what we've gone out because we haven't gone over the total.
Right, exactly.
But we're gonna have to shave here and there in
No.
order to make up for it.
No, because didn't you just say as long as the bottom line?
Well, yeah, but, I mean, we have to come up,
We have to
we have to come
come
up with
the
the $30,000 somewhere in this whole budget.
Yeah, I would say, personally, I would say miscellaneous expenses, or there was one other that I wasn't.
And that would be your thought too?
Yeah.
General government.
Your
miscellaneous.
thoughts same? Jim, what are your thoughts? Same thing? Miscellaneous
Yep.
expenses?
I thought
Yep.
there was a line
It-
for penalties, but I might be
No,
thinking
I
about
looked
something
and
else.
looked
We-
through everything.
So where
Alright.
do we put penalties now?
What kind of penalty?
Well, I know like occasionally there's like a health trust, like it's like $2 or something, like maybe not penalties, but like fees. Where do fees typically go?
Probably that's what those miscellaneous expenses.
Oh,
are.
okay,
They-
then that makes even more sense.
So we'll take the 30,000 out of there and then we're gonna have to figure out
Allocate.
where we allocate that from to make up for that difference. Because it wasn't, we weren't planning on having to pay the IRS penalties and fees.
Yeah, I'll move to post it in the miscellaneous general government.
I'll second that.
All right, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Letty?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
There you go. It's an aye, so that's where we'll throw it. And then we'll have to sort that out. Well, I already did rec, so any old business?
And I'll just say, add
Oh.
that we've put procedures in place to make sure
It doesn't happen again?
it doesn't happen again.
Are they written down?
I'll have to check with Sue, because she had come up with new procedures, so
Okay.
I'll see if she.
Because I think part of the reason why we ended up here is that a lot of things just lived in someone's head.
Yeah, and then,
There was no handoff
Yeah.
or changeover.
yeah, what was, I always say information stuck in my head doesn't help anybody if it stays in my head.
Yep.
I think did you go to planning board, or I could ask?
I did go to planning board.
While I was out, just so everyone knows, I was delirious with pneumonia, but
Yeah.
feeling better now.
So I did go to planning board. There was, and I know there was a letter that went out to all the select board members asking for, there's a condominium situation It's a business commercial condominium where the site plan is not proper, I think, right now. Is that the way to put it? Right? It's not accurate at this point. They're not, they've changed the site plan, but they never asked for approval to do so. And then one of the tenants that rents from one of the condo owners came in because he wants to change his business and he wants to change the site plan, but of course he doesn't even own a condo. He's a tenant of a condo owner that's part of this bigger condominium association. So we sent a letter response to the association and Glenn helped draft that up. But he's now asking the select board for an appeal, but I think it has to go to ZBA because it really has nothing to do with select board.
Right.
And on top of that, he's not a condo owner and he's not part of the association. So we can't agree to comply with his permit request because it's kind of like me pulling a permit on Letty's house.
He doesn't have standing.
So
doesn't
in
have
a
standing.
condo situation, would individual owners of the individual units be responsible for making the request to the
Yeah, so
planning board?
they have a condo association board, so
Right.
they have to go to their board.
I guess that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
So like, if it were, I'm thinking about like Three Ponds or something, that's a condo association, but if somebody wanted to change their property, it would just be the one property owner? Is that the same? Because I think that's a commercial thing, right?
It's a commercial thing, but the problem that they're running into is it's not even the unit owner, it's the tenant
So the
that's
unit,
renting from the condo owner.
so the unit owner would be the one that would have to come
Right,
before
so the
this.
tenant has to go to the condo owner. The condo owner then has to go to his association because they have their own governmental agency. Then that person would have to come and say, I want to do a site plan change.
I guess that's different from what I,
Am I looking at that right? Yeah. Because the entire association has to come together.
okay. I guess I'm thinking about,
For example, he has.
the rock guy. What was the rock guy? Sorry, that's it.
Oh, yeah.
Right, there was the rock guy, and so the owner of the property was the one that had to come and do whatever. So it sounds like because it's a condo association, it's even more complicated than that, where the owner of that condo does not have authority.
Correct, because the owner, so the tenant, for example, he has a car business. Oh,
Oh, we lost him all again. Time's up. It's been 2 hours.
He left. He's like, I'm done. I'm out.
So the condo owner owns, when in the lease agreement or the tenant agreement, it only comes with 2 parking spaces. He needs more than that.
Okay.
He can only get 2 parking spaces, and that's according to his own lease.
I
But
think
he
the
wants
added
more.
level of ownership is what's throwing me off.
Right.
Because typically, whoever owns the property, even if they're renting it out, there's not another authority above them.
So his business isn't supposed to be the business he's doing in that lot? Is the idea of it?
Yeah, so he's doing the business. The problem is there's another automotive business in the same condominium.
Okay.
It's a commercial condo.
Basically insufficient parking.
Right, and so they just don't have enough spots, so each place has 2.
Yeah.
He needs a lot more than that.
Are the other, is the site as a whole a problem or just this one unit?
The entire site is out
Yeah,
of
that's the
compliance
problem.
when they did
That's the problem.
so when they did their site walk, the entire site, so that's why they sent a letter to the association, because they're technically the overall.
And it went beyond just that.
Okay, so it's
It was a trigger.
It's not a specific
Yeah.
pinpoint issue, it's an overall site
Right,
issue.
so he's asking for a variance for himself, but there's no way he's gonna get a variance because he can't get the variance because he
Oh,
doesn't even
he's
own
literally
it.
gone. Maybe.
That's okay. We're gonna end up going in non-public too, so. Which I've kind of already had a little discussion with him about what was gonna go on. So that's given everyone kind of what's happening with planning board. I don't think there's anything we can do, but I know that that individual sent out an email to the entire select board
Yep.
asking to appeal to us. I don't think there's anything we can do because ultimately he really has to appeal it to the unit owner, and then the unit owner has to
This
appeal
is
to
a
the
zoning
association.
question, not like a permit. Like,
Has
I
nothing
know
to do
that we
with us,
can
yeah.
overturn permit decision,
Yeah, this is,
something. We don't have power over this.
Yeah.
And this goes to a ZBA, number one. Number two, the weird thing is the condo association hasn't requested anything. And the unit owner hasn't requested anything. It's the tenant that's requesting something. So it's one of those convoluted things, but because it was sent to all of us, I think that was something we had to have a discussion about and be aware that that's what's going on. I'm leaving this up to the planning board. I think that's where it needs to stay.
Right.
It sounds like it's already been in front of the planning board. Planning board says,
Planning board
No.
already said no. Lee, Glenn, the planner, town planner, he
Greenwood.
was in agreement with that. So, and then he has to appeal it through the ZBA, but they've already sent a letter saying, unfortunately, your request is denied, but they've sent the response to the association. They don't owe that response to a tenant.
so it doesn't need to come to us at this point.
No. So
Jim says, let me back in, please.
but he's not here.
You're not in the meeting anymore.
Do I have to get out?
No, in the Teams meeting, you're not. Click on Julie's name, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
There he is.
He was,
I'm there.
Hey.
You can see us, but we can't see you. There we go. Now we can see you. All right. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
So, so that's the deal with the planning board.
I'll just,
And-
real quickly, softball playoffs for the Brentwood League started up yesterday, going through the week. Mad Batters beat King Kong yesterday. King Kong is the Kingston Congregational Church, and it's their first time in the league, and they're fantastic, and I hope they come back.
You're
So
the umpire, right?
I am the ump.
He is the ump.
He is the ump.
I am. The ump.
I watch you.
Okay.
I holler at him.
There you go. Bad call. Bad call.
Put your glasses on.
Here they go.
Anything, Dave?
Conservation, we need to get some appointment slips redone. Some of our people have run out. And we need to find one more alternate because we had one member resign as a regular. She's moving away. One of the alternates are gonna move into that spot, so we need to fill one alternate spot with somebody.
Do you have the recommendations from the board?
Rob is supposed to send it to Sue.
Okay.
We wanna do, and we also have another person we haven't seen for over a year. We're gonna find out if that person still wants to belong or not, so we could have 2 regular spots.
Okay.
The terms have run out, I guess we didn't know they had run out.
there was a process that the select board had enacted. It sounds like it's
We
fallen by
found
the
out
wayside.
last week that they are. Next meeting is September 9th, so.
Okay. So hopefully we can get some appointment slips over quickly
Yeah.
if they've expired. All right. Letty, anything?
Yeah, somebody resigned from the school board, so there's an opening. Anyone who's interested in being considered to fill the remainder of the year, not the term, kind of like what happened.
Because they
with
have to
you.
run again, right?
Yep, like, so they will put the remainder of the term, the last 2 years, up on the ballot in March, but they're looking for someone to fill in from now until then. Anyone who's interested should email the chair, whose name I'm blanking, Megan Fitzgerald.
Okay.
I think it's mfitzgerald@sau16.org. There haven't been any meetings. They're gonna have a special meeting to do that, but their first regularly scheduled meeting is in September.
When was the position vacated?
Yeah, like officially?
Yeah.
I went out to
Yeah,
school.
like
days.
yesterday, 2 days ago.
Oh, okay, so it was recent.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, it's recent.
Okay.
Library trustees met. They are working, Janice is working with the epoxy people. I had emailed you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The same one that did the rec basement, which he left, but
Yeah, Jason. He'll be back in. He's just sitting in his office.
they are looking for other quotes. She has one other person who's responded, but 3 or 4 have just like completely
Yeah.
blown her off. So
I think they ran into that same problem with the rec center.
Yep.
I think we got the information because the fire department had it done before, and that's where we chased down for the rec.
Yep.
Because I know when the rec did it, our thought is if it can hold a fire truck, pull to a fire truck, it can hold pretty much kids. It
Yeah,
can hold things. The library will be able to hold it too.
And the thing I wasn't aware of is the lifespan of
Yeah.
an epoxy floor
It's
versus
awesome.
like the vinyl tiles that they have there now. The reason why they're looking at replacing the floor is because when the sewage overflowed, all of those tiles have cracks in between and there's really no way.
Yeah.
So this would eliminate that as an issue for the next 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Perfect.
Me?
All right. Any public comment?
Can I just mention
Oh, sure.
something under whatever, old business or something?
Mhm.
I happen to think of that, Daphne has brought up that she still has that issue of leaking in her office.
Yeah, I saw that in Sue's email. Haven't we fixed that like 3 or 4 times now?
The only thing we did was we cleared off the roof. I know we talked to Jeff Bryant when he was in here before. What's happened is because the snow got underneath there, it's expanded the seam, so the seam needs to be repaired. I know that program with the sheriffs, that they have people that come over, they do roofing and stuff, so we probably should have them come over and take a look at it and see what we can do.
Or whoever, who installed the roof?
They were out of Maine.
Oh. Isn't
And
there a
I know we
place-
ended up having an insurance claim against them because they
Great.
took off the.
Yeah, I
bridge
would
cap.
recommend that we have Jeff oversee that project, to be honest with you. He
Isn't
really
there-
knows what he's talking about with that.
Isn't there a metal roof company like across from the rec center? Am I making that up?
I think it's advanced, it's in there, there's somebody in there,
Just somebody to,
in gigantic part.
it shouldn't be
Yeah.
raining in Daphne's office anymore.
No, it's really just snow, ice damming and stuff like that. And I know we have to put some insulation. There is a scuttle that you can go up into, and I'm fine with going up there and adding some insulation.
Right, so it's not currently still,
No, it's only when it snows.
I think it's only when it snows.
oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I know, it did.
Thought, it sounded like it was more current and I know it had rained really hard
Yeah, no, it's,
when we got that email.
it's like
so-
ice damming. They have issues with the ice damming.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was a current.
No, so the seams need to be, it needs to kind of be fixed. And before it progressively gets worse. So we do need to have somebody come take a look at that. Yeah, I mean, we can do 2 things. We can either reach out to a roofing company and have them come take a look at it, and give us a proposal for that. Again, I cringe because I know we gotta find some money. So that's gonna be,
Isn't that what the
tight.
building maintenance fund is for though? Stuff like that?
I don't know how much we have left in there.
I'd have to look.
So, we'll have to look at that and see what we have, but we gotta get a proposal to see what they can do to fix that and make it kind of, like I said, I don't have a problem going up through the scuttle and stuffing insulation in there to try to stop that, because that's clearly one of the problems, because they're just getting so much heat loss that it's melting the snow in that area, and then it's just backing up underneath the valley and then melting and dumping inside of the building. And I know I came out here last winter. I think she had a heart attack as I hung my body out the window and started chiseling away, and hoping to God I didn't get hit by a big chunk of ice that I sheared off the building. With shovels and everything else, I went through the welfare director's office and I went through Daphne's office, hanging out there with a shovel. And we did have a roofing company come and put, what was the name of that roofing company, Jim?
Rockingham, it's at his place.
Rockingham Roofing.
Rockingham Roofing. They came out and they
Yep.
went up and put bags of calcium chloride that Wayne ended up picking up and putting up there. And they put the calcium chloride up there to try to melt that big chunks of ice up there. So number one, the police department wouldn't get killed by these things when they came off the building and went down to their department. But I can tell you there were big chunks of ice and it was melting like crazy inside there. And I came in twice because they had the ice dams twice. So we do need to fix that. All right. Anything else from public? I'm going to make a motion that we go into non-public. We do have some personnel discussions to go over. 91A, 311, A, B, C, D, E, I, L, and M.
Not all,
Not all of them, but we're
Oh.
just talking about personnel. I just read the whole thing. It's in accordance with that.
Bathroom, do we?
Yeah. And I got to ask Jason to come back in. Jim, you're just going to hang on, right?
I am. Yeah.
Jim, I might lose you. If I lose you, I'm gonna call you on my cell phone.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, thanks. We're gonna have